Welcome to the Sunday Brunch 4x4 blog. This is a really interesting one. I'm going to need your help with this. This is a question, in fact more than just a question, from an ASPW Experience member. He's planning a trip and it's ambitious, and he's asked me for some help, and I'm going to try and give it to him in a number of ways. I've already had a face-to-face consult with him and gave him some ideas, and he's obviously stewing on those ideas, and he's reporting back to me, and it's an ongoing discussion. And I think you guys out there will be able to comment on this and actually give some very worthwhile advice. I want to mention before we get going that my book, The Complete Guide to Four-Wheel Drive, now in its 9th edition, is available from Amazon. Link is in the description. I updated that book in March 2025. Everything I know, my life of four-wheel drive. I'm sure 4x4 enthusiasts all over the world will love it and get a lot out of it. Over 100,000 copies sold since it was first published in 1993. Right, Joost, ASPW Experience member, is planning to do the Canning stock route in a stock Jimny. That's a problem, because as he points out, it has a whopping 340 kilograms of payload. But he's not sure if he wants to do a GVM upgrade, because here's the problem with the Jimny. It can't carry enough fuel, because you have to carry water and you have to carry fuel. Now, water is less of a problem on the Canning than fuel, because you can get water, and if you are smart and frugal with your water usage, he has said he's going to take 40 litres of water. There is one point of water but in the halfway point, but it's not reliable, so that first bit is give or take 800 kilometres off-road before he can refill. Then the centre point at well 33, he will be able to get fuel and water. Now, he needs to do that first bit of 800 plus kilometres off-road, and then the last section is just under 1,000 kilometres off-road. And his poor little Jimny is going to be, well, beyond his gross vehicle mass, and if he doesn't do a GVM upgrade. But there's also a space issue. Where does he fit? There are two of them driving in it. Where does he fit his food, water, and those jerry cans? Where does he put them? So my suggestion was, and some of you will disagree with, and I think Joost disagrees with me as well, but he's got a very good reason for disagreeing with me, because, well, his alternative is a perfectly viable alternative, and that is to pull a small trailer, because the trailer can carry the weight of the fuel, and he can decant. Now, the trailer is not going to be particularly heavy if it's carrying his fuel and he's decanting it. Most of the time the trailer is going to be empty. So is he likely to break the trailer? Because the Canning breaks trailers, all right? And so, but if his trailer is very light, it might not break the trailer, but it still could break the trailer, even if the trailer was empty. So he's not putting, very wisely, a rooftop tent on his Jimny. He's going to be sleeping in ground tents, all right? He has increased he's got Toyo RT tires on it. They are the standard size. I think the standard size is fine. If you were going to go to a slightly bigger tire, that might be an advantage to you, but don't go too big. Be careful there, okay, because that's going to increase your fuel consumption. The Canning is a very mixed terrain. The most difficult parts are where the ground is soft over the dunes, over 1,200 dunes to cross on the Canning. And off-road driving on the Canning can be a bit tricky at times, but it's not a really tough route where you need a lot of technical expertise to physically drive it. Canning is a challenge because it's so long and you need It's a test of endurance more than anything else. And he rightly says, he doesn't want to rush it and he's happy to go slow. Great. That's absolutely, you're going to go slow, okay, in that little rig. But where are you going to struggle? You're going to struggle over the really tall dunes when the trailer is heavy. The little motor and that little Jimny is going to, but I think with a bit of skill after a few days, I don't know how good a driver Joost is, but I think he's reasonably competent. He's done some trails before, so he's not a complete newbie. And I think that even if he is a reasonable beginner, after a few days and a couple of struggling a bit on the occasional dune and getting to know his vehicle a little better and the load and the feel of the vehicle better, I think he will do absolutely fine. All right, even pulling a trailer. I think the way to go, and this was mine versus his, was not pull a trailer. The trailer is going to be your Achilles heel. If anything's going to break, it's going to be your trailer, the shock absorbers on the trailer, the spring shackles on the trailer, and the tow hitch, that critical point where the tow hitch joins the car. You cannot use a standard tow ball. And I've said this to him. Forget it. All right? If anything will break, that will break. You need very good articulation, and a standard tow hitch is not going to work. It's a liability. Okay. Then the vehicle itself. Now, the Jimny is a strongly built little car. Keeping it light means that you'll have less chance of vehicle problems. Now you've got a trailer, your vehicle is much lighter, so you've transferred the potential for issues from the vehicle to the trailer. Take away the trailer, put a full-length roof rack on the Jimny. You are going to be at max GVM, probably a little bit over when on max weight, but you're shedding that weight reasonably quickly. Roof rack. On the roof rack go your chairs and your tents, all the light stuff. All the water and all the fuel gets packed into the Jimny, the back seat gets taken out, and everything is strapped down right behind the front seats as low as possible. So and you're going to need 4 or 5 jerry cans with fuel and 2 jerry cans with water. And then you're packing some stuff on top of those fuel cans and your bulky stuff on your roof rack. And what then is likely to break? In reality, shock absorbers, your shocks. Because you've got good tires, you've got a strong little car, you are quite heavy, but you're going to take it easy, you're going to take it slow, you're going to be smart, sensible. I've spoken to the guy more than once, and he's a sensible man. And he's not going to ask too much of his vehicle. And I think that the chances of actually breaking his vehicle are fairly low, even at those weights. All right. I think the chances of breaking the vehicle at those weights are less than the chance of breaking the trailer, having the weight now moved into the trailer. Because with a trailer, all his water and all his fuel goes into the trailer. The vehicle is much, much lighter. Those are the two scenarios. So I'd like your comments, please. Should he take a light, and when I say light, it's a light, basic cargo carrying trailer. It does nothing more than carry the fuel and water. All right? And as I said, not camping on the roof of his vehicle, using ground tents and chairs and basic cookers. He's got a basic little table, really basic, like a motorbike rider would pack his vehicle, packing very, very light. His big problem is maintaining and keeping the vehicle sound and not breaking anything because of the relentless nature of parts of the canning. Or should he, like I've suggested, I think that's the way I would do it, is make the vehicle heavier. And because here's a key thing in my opinion, he will be working the vehicle and trailer a lot harder than he would if he was just driving the Jimny without a trailer. Because the Jimny on its own doesn't have that anchor behind it. Using extra fuel, he can take less fuel if he doesn't take a trailer. So there you've got a little bit of a saving. Maybe as much as a whole jerry can. I've worked out that it's probably, that's the difference. 1 jerry can less if he doesn't pull a trailer. That's quite a lot of weight, quite a lot of space. If he's smart, clever with his loading of his little Jimny, he will have a better chance of success, in my opinion, if he doesn't take a trailer and he's smart with the loading of the Jimny. What do you think? So I'm going to leave that discussion open for the comment section. Please, guys, contribute. Joost is desperate for this trip to be a success. It's he and his son. It sounds like an amazing adventure for the two of them. It will be life-changing for both of them. I really want them to do it. And doing it in a Jimny is a base standard, almost stock Jimny that he's got, is a great idea. It can be done. It should be done. We want to wish him the best and help him on his way with good, sound, experience-based advice. I welcome you to comment now, and we're both looking forward to reading those comments that you make. Very much indeed. Until the next time, don't forget to like this video. It's very important to the channel that you like things like this. Tell YouTube that you like it, and YouTube will like me more and share the videos more for me on my behalf. Till next time, bye for now. Would you agree that the electrical installations in most camper, caravans, 4x4s are a bit messy, no clear layout? And if something goes wrong, well, good luck figuring it out. Now, that, of course, was the case until the invention of the Egon DC hub. Because the DC hub gives you control over your electrical system. Once installed, it's done. Easy self-diagnostics. You've eliminated the guesswork. Whether you're building it yourself or paying a fitment center, the DC hub makes the entire system faster, cleaner, and dramatically easier to understand. And because everything is standardized, you will save yourself a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of money, and a lot of future headaches. So if you want an electrical system that just works and keeps working, ask for Egon.